The martial arts dojo fell silent. Not a shuffle. Not a cough. Not even a whisper disturbed the air as a woman in her late 30s stepped onto the mat. Her footsteps were soft but deliberate. She wore a faded blue gi, slightly loose on her lean frame. A yellow belt hung from her waist, tied simply, imperfectly. To the black belts watching, it was a laughable sight. Her hair was tied in a tight bun, her face calm, her eyes serious. But she didn't look like a fighter. She looked like someone's mom. Someone who did laundry, packed lunchboxes, and maybe watched self-defense videos on YouTube. The two men standing at the center of the mat, both senior black belts named Rafik and Zaman, exchanged glances. They were large, well-built, confident, and visibly irritated. "You lost, lady?" Rafik called out. "This isn't a yoga class." The students laughed. Others pulled out their phones, hoping for a viral clip. She bowed quietly. "I'm here for the advanced sparring session."
Zaman snorted.
"You?" She said nothing more, just walked to the edge of the mat, joining the circle. Everyone assumed the same thing. She was a hobbyist, a nobody, an amateur. They had no idea what they were looking at. With Sensei Haruto away on retreat, Rafik and Zaman had been given authority over the dojo, and they used it as a stage. That day's session was focused on full-contact sparring, a tradition where only the strongest were allowed to participate. The woman, who simply introduced herself as Ayla, was completely out of place. She stood quietly during the demonstrations, copying the footwork drills with mechanical accuracy. Her form was smooth, almost too smooth, but the men weren't paying attention to form. They were looking at her belt. Yellow, barely above a beginner. "Let's see what you've got." Zaman grinned, stepping onto the mat. "Come on, one round. I'll even keep one hand behind my back." More laughter. A student whispered, "She's gonna cry." Ayla walked calmly to the center, bowed, raised her hands. Her stance wasn't fancy. It wasn't showy, but it was perfectly balanced, efficient. Zaman lunged. His punch was fast, a straight jab to the chest. But before it could land, Ayla shifted just slightly and struck. Her palm hit his wrist with pinpoint accuracy, redirecting the blow. Then she pivoted, her elbow coming up in a clean arc, slamming into his sternum. Thud. Zaman stumbled back, winded. The laughter stopped. He snarled, coming again, this time with kicks. Fast, high spinning. She weaved around them like smoke. Her movements weren't flashy. They were surgical. Then, she swept his leg. He hit the mat, hard. Zaman gasped, rolling onto his side. Ayla didn't smirk. She didn't celebrate. She bowed again and stepped back. Rafik was fuming. "Lucky hit," he spat, stepping forward. "Now it's my turn." Unlike Zaman, Rafik didn't underestimate her now. He took his stance seriously, focused. "I don't care who you are," he muttered. "You're not walking out of here untouched." Ayla tilted her head. "That depends on your control," she replied. The fight began. Rafik was aggressive, skilled, and fast. He threw combos designed to overwhelm. But Ayla's defense was impenetrable. She blocked, redirected, dodged, and struck back with brutal precision. At one point, she trapped his wrist mid-punch, twisted his arm, and flipped him over her shoulder like he weighed nothing. Boom! The room shook. A few students in the back started Googling. What was her name again? Ayla Nazir. A minute later, someone gasped. "Oh my God!" The phones filled with headlines. Elite combat trainer Ayla Nazir goes off-grid after military career. Special Forces instructor disappears after injury in classified mission. The woman who trained soldiers to survive ambushes. She wasn't a housewife. She was a ghost from the military world. A legend. Someone who had taught real warriors how to fight. Someone who had survived actual combat zones. And now, she stood calmly, adjusting her GI, as the two most arrogant fighters in the dojo lay on the mat. The silence was now filled with awe. She bowed to both Rafik and Zaman, offering a hand to help them up. They hesitated but accepted. To their credit, they didn't complain. They didn't insult her again. They just nodded. "We misjudged you," Rafik said. "It happens," Ayla replied. "You judged the belt, not the person." She turned to the rest of the class. "Everyone starts somewhere. But never assume weakness. You don't know what battles someone has already fought." She left quietly after that. Within hours, the dojo footage hit martial arts forums and social media. Unknown woman humbles dojo. Yellow belt defeats black belts with military skill. Real fighter walks among us. But Ayla didn't return to the spotlight. She didn't want fame. She just wanted peace. A few weeks later, a rumor spread. Ayla had opened a small dojo in a quiet part of town. No ads, no posters, just word of mouth. She didn't teach to win medals. She taught people to protect themselves, to find strength in silence. And this time, every student who walked into her class came with respect. Not because of her belt, but because of her presence.